So you want to get together and learn from one another, create a community of learning. We can do that using Planner. And here is an example of a book club that we've created to learn all of the products and solutions that we have throughout the university. And here we've highlighted the Microsoft platforms, but here we're going into the SIS, LMS, and other activities as well. So let's take a closer look here. Within this environment, we have, of course, the different modules on a learning path. This is all free from Microsoft, so this learning path, we're going to look at that. Here we also have a way to capture the information. So it's not okay just to read the book. These aren't casual reading books. These are reference books. So now we're capturing all of those exercises and references both in SharePoint as well as in OneNote, so that we can search and use that information when we want to do something in the future. So we've read the data as a group, all of us or individually, and now we're documenting it. We've got that platform set up right here within the book club, and we enter that information on a simple form that just asks you a couple questions, and then you can provide additional detail. And when you submit, it automatically goes and feeds the lists and the OneNote file. So all of that is a lot, and we're going to talk about that here on this video on how to set up your own book club within Office 365 or M365, or just a reference library for yourself to kind of keep track of everything that you're learning. So stay tuned. So the first place that we start for this book club really is within Microsoft Planner. So within Planner, now why would we use Planner? We use Planner primarily because we can set due dates. So we can set milestones, go through all of these modules. This is a learning environment. So we've combined a whole bunch of these modules together, and this is what we're learning here. And as we go down through these chapters of this very large PDF file that we've just downloaded from Microsoft, now we can continue to kind of go through all of these modules. So we're reading this, we're taking notes, everything's great, and we're putting due dates. That's why we see this in Planner. We could put it in a million other places, but here this gives us a little more structure. But when we collect that information, we need to collect it consistently and with the ability to search on the data that we're collecting. You see, when we go through that reference documentation, we want to take notes. Hey, that's what I need to do X, Y, Z. And you read it, you wrote it in the margin of the book, and now you need to reference it. So this is what this does for you. This allows you to just document as you're reading on your cell phone, for example, and you can just put in your reading notes and references and add all kinds of information related to it. And when you hit go, it automatically captures this information. So to create this form is pretty simple. I'm not going to walk through the creation of a form right now with you. To do forms, we just click on the waffle and we go down here to forms and we create it. Same thing as Planner, we create the Planner task. So once we've done that, it automatically populates two areas here. We're going to populate the files, right? And you can see here we're giving it a reference number, which happens to be the task number, what page it's on inside of this book right here, and what our reading notes are, and what a key phrase is, which we're using here as the title as well. So if I want to do a trigger an action or understand what that is, I can go directly to that, or a single word, I can go there. So it's very, very simple to follow. So we do that inside of OneNote, and to create that inside of OneNote, all you need to do is create a section. We called it Book Club Notebook, that's associated right here with our plan. So you can go here and go to Notebook. It's right there. And now we have that. Whoops, we need to go back to OneNote. We have that right here. We just put in reading notes, add the section, and then this page gets automatically added using Power Automate. So I'm going to show you how that works here in just a moment. Now, when we hit this form, it's going to automatically populate this page exactly the way we want it. Additionally, it's going to populate this list. So some people prefer to use lists. You can search within this list for information. You can also sort within the list by key phrase. For example, here, there's lots of things and flexibility that you can use within a list that you may not be able to use within OneNote. But for you, from a user perspective, you just enter it into the form, and we're going to automatically enter it into one of these two formats, whichever reference material looks easy for you. And so to develop that automation, we're going to use Power Automate. So when we look at Power Automate, we're just going to go here, and here it is right here, OneNote. So I'm going to show you this quickly, and then look at other videos on the channel that talk about this. But basically, we're taking this book reference form, right? We're going, let me show you the actual form. Let me open that up for you real quick in a new tab. So it's create a new page in OneNote. So if you're following along, just pause the video. This is what you want to go to templates right here. And you want to search for this. And then you can follow along with me on editing it. So here, pretty easy. You just go in there and edit. Here, we can do it here too. So we just go in there and edit. We're just going to pick the form. Pretty simple. We're going to go down here and pick the form again. All right. And then we're going to pick the notebook that we want to go to. In this case, I'm going to the notebook called Book Club. So we're just going to pick that, and then we're going to pick whatever the section is inside of that notebook. So to show you what that looks like, here we have our Book Club reference, right? The form, that's this form right here, is what we're referencing. And then here, when we go down, we're going to go here to this right here, communication. That's the Book Club notebook. Remember, we just saw that over here, Book Club notebook. And then reading notes. Remember, when we look at here, we're looking at the section. It's called reading notes. That's pretty easy. So then we're going to enter in this code here. So you may want to pause the video and add in this HTML right here into your page content. If you notice in your template, you don't have any HTML in there. So this is a great way to do that. So pause the video and add that. And what this is going to do is, for example, this title right here, do you notice when we're inside, if you don't use the HTML, if you do not use the HTML, your notes are going to come out looking like this. Instead, they can look like this, right? A little more organized. And that's what this does for you. So a few key things to remember here is the title in the HTML. And then notice here, we're just doing key phrases. And then we have that BR right there. And that BR is a carriage return. So that's creating the carriage return in the output that we see here, right? 1 line, 2 line, 3 lines, space, and then the next area. And you can see 2 BRs there. So that's as easy as you do that. To get those fields, you're just going to go down here and you're going to put in that field, but you got to write the HTML code first. So let me show you here. If I wanted to put in a field here, now I can just click in there somewhere and I can pick a field from my form and I can add that information. So see other videos that we have on the channel that explain all this detail. This was really designed just to kind of give you a quick overview of how to create your own book club and the automation behind it. So let's summarize. To summarize, really from a user perspective, they're going to see right here, they're going to find this great book that they want to read. They're going to click on that book, and then it's going to open up within the environment, and they're going to be able to read that book. All right, and it looks like it's taken a while, so we'll move on. So they'll be able to read that book. It's like 500 pages long, so it'll take a minute to come up. Then when they're reading the book, they just enter in their notes. That's it. And then when they want to reference their notes or anybody else's notes that's in the book club, this is where the strength comes in, right? Anybody. This is a community effort to get through this technical material here. They can either go to a list or they can go right here into OneNote, use the search capabilities in both to find key things and be able to address the issues that they want immediately.